So since we got the leaked date for when Cyberpunk comes out, but should we talk about it?
I mean, just because it's coming out on the
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to GameGorgon. My name is Krug.
I'm Indigo.
Today we're here to talk to you about Cyberpunk 2077 and how its release date is in 2077 apparently.
Confirmed! It sure feels like that with the lack of information, I should say the lack of real information that we have.
So there's a bunch of rumors and speculation going on around a conference that was attended recently that had some shady stuff in it. And that's kind of what we're here to talk about.
It had some good information, and then it has a super tinfoil hat moment in it.
Yeah.
So the conference he's talking about was CD Projekt's 2017 financial review conference, basically. Where they basically talk about their finances. Something not Cyberpunk related, though, is the fact that the amount of money that they made off of Witcher 3 is just insane.
15 times the profit?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, some of that could have come from, being more efficient and stuff like that. But 15 times? No, that's not all efficiency.
It made more money than Witcher 2 and 1 combined. Yeah.
High five, dudes. All without microtransactions.
Yes, but this is where we come into Cyberpunk 2077. So once the kind of end of the meeting ended, they started going into a Q&A section where the audience got to ask questions. A lot of them were stupid, and by stupid I mean really not entertaining.
Not entertaining for gamers.
Hey, will I be receiving dividends after the blah 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 blah? Like that, it was a really hard.
Was that the sound of the very wealthy people in the audience doing a line of coke?
It was me falling asleep while watching this.
Gotcha.
But they did ask a little bit about Cyberpunk 2077.
Specifically, they were asked about do you know when it's coming out? Can you talk about it? And the response from the guys on stage was, I'm not going to make any announcements about Cyberpunk 2077.
And then somebody goes, okay, but can you tell us when you're going to make announcements about it?
I can't announce the announcement either.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was a really stupid conversation. During that conversation, though, is where we get to the tinfoil hat bit. If you look at this video, you'll notice that the screen does a weird thing.
Only time it does that during the entire conference.
Also, both of us have worked in the entertainment industry. He still does, and I used to. We've worked with video systems, LED projection, everything. That's not how screens look when they freak out. At all, ever. I've never seen that before.
And you don't have your logo pristine and perfect.
Yeah. The logo is completely perfect, doesn't move at all, and everything behind it is brr, I'm a glitch.
But if you notice in this glitch, there are kind of letters that form.
Ugh, this is the stupid part.
If you notice, there is a section that if you pause, and I'm going to put it up on the screen, that has EEE.
I mean, hold up. EEE should be in quotes too.
What could EEE mean, huh?
Extraterrestrial.
Nope.
Oh.
No, I'm thinking E3.
Yeah, the Entertainment Something Expo.
The Electronic Entertainment Expo.
That one.
Which would be 3 E's. Are we going to be seeing something at E3?
We don't know. Also,
they asked that question almost immediately after the glitch, too.
I have no way they saw it, though.
No, they
you have
didn't.
to go frame by frame to see it.
You have to go frame by frame just to see it. It just was coincidental that they're like, well, what about E3? Will we be hearing anything at E3?
I mean, that's a pretty common question, right?
Yes, but that was right after he said, we're not going to be making any announcements or explaining when we're going to announce it. And they say, oh, but what about E3? And they say, we're not going to announce about E3, but we will be making announcements about E3 right before E3.
Here's what I think, though. Wait. That's so stupid.
I think it's interesting. I think it builds a little bit of hype to it, whether or not that meant to be EEE or not. Mm-hmm. It was clearly on purpose, and it was clearly a Cyberpunk kind of nod, because it's kind of their style. I really enjoyed it. I thought that
it was cute. At the very least, it was just cute.
Yeah. After the glitch happened, they continued to ask more questions about Cyberpunk because that seems to be the next project that they're working on, and people want to know, especially if they're investing. Hey.
Well, and I also think that there are reporters that just like have money invested into these companies so that they can get to these events and ask these questions?
I think there was press people because I think one
really?
of the people said like, "Hey, I'm so and so with Bloomberg."
Oh, okay, cool.
Well, one of the people out in the audience asked, "Hey, in a previous conference, you happened to mention that the game Cyberpunk was going to be intergenerational for consoles, or like basically, what does that mean?" It was kind of the question. And he came back and said, yes, the game has got high technology, it's ready to be used on high power, but we can't make it for the next generation of consoles because the next generation of consoles haven't been made.
He said we can't announce anything about the next
True.
generation. He basically did say they've made it ready for the next generation of consoles, which can mean one of two things as far as we can tell.
Yeah.
One, they've obfuscated the hardware from the software so that there's like a piece in the middle that can be easily adjusted no matter what the new hardware looks like, and the software will work. Or they've had some kind of insider information about the next gen of consoles, and so they've just prepared for it. But they can't talk about it because that's the console manufacturers, right, not the software developers, right?
Which, again,
both of which are totally plausible, I think.
Which again, if we do see an announcement about a new console, like at E3 this year, it would fit within the range of new console announcements. Mm-hmm. Like it's probably just going to be announced but not released for another year or two, or like, just like, hey,
maybe
this is our next console.
I don't really keep up with like console announce releases, like especially this far in advance, where like there isn't even really like a solid rumor about it yet. So I don't really know if they ever come out and say, hey, we're releasing this console in 2 years, because that seems like we're going to board this hype train and it's going to run out of steam like 30% of the way down the tracks, because that's how I would feel it would go. But maybe not. I could be wrong.
I think it'd be interesting if they announced a new console at E3 and then they announced Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Because that would kind of make sense with
kind
this
of like
statement.
with Apple. You know how Apple does WGDC and then they invite developers on stage to talk about like their apps that they've like done something cool with for the new platform to take advantage of. Maybe something like that's happening. Like The Witcher did this cool thing, and we had access, and so we built the game this way. So it takes advantage of.
You need that for any sort of hardware. You can't just be like, look, I built a piece of hardware, nothing works on it yet, but here's a piece of hardware. Like, you need to get manufacturers.
Yeah,
you
people
need to
like
get,
this.
Yeah.
See, this guy made a thing.
Exactly.
That makes sense. Another question that was brought up was in regards to the actual game and how the game was going to work. We did learn some information during that conversation. One, there's going to be a class system, which is cool. There were rumors previously that this was going to be an MMO-esque experience, and those were basically quashed. They did say that multiplayer support might come down the road, but their focus is on the single-player experience right now. All that's really interesting. I'm gonna just take a couple steps back and like, how is this not announcing stuff again? Like, that's really funny to me.
I think part of this was more squashing rumors than it was actual like information, because it was just like people were going out because they had made an announcement previously saying, hey, we want to bring multiplayer aspects into our games in the future.
Yeah, because
and be
CD
online.
Projekt Red, like Witcher and all that stuff, is largely single player.
Yeah,
focused.
all three of the Witchers, but Gwent is their first like online game.
But
so they're saying, hey, in the future we want to add this, and so everyone was like, oh, Cyber 20
MMO.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be an MMO. And so it was more like, hey, yes, there's classes because this is an RPG. This is based off of a role-playing game, but it's our number one focus, again, hammering at the fact that we create a single-player RPG, fully created game. I repeat, he says there will be no form of microtransactions or hidden fees. Like, that is their model. We're going to make a great freaking game. It's going to spend a lot of time, a lot of energy for you guys to make it, or for us to make it, and you play it, and it's going to be good. Like, they hammer that home.
I love that.
Now, that was looking at the last, financial conference that they had, but a financial conference they had a little while ago, 2015, they actually talked about a couple of other things I think is really interesting. They made some projections of what they wanted to get done between 2017 and 2021, which was that they wanted to release Cyberpunk 2077, which means, hey, we know a release date window.
That's close.
They also said that they wanted to release another AAA RPG, which means Cyberpunk kind of has to be soonish, right? Like,
Sure.
if Cyberpunk's going to be released, then that gives at least a few more years to continue to work on another AAA title.
And the other thing about the AAA title being mentioned is that what is it going to be? Because it's probably not going to be another Cyberpunk that would have just come out. So what are they going to do? Because they can't, I mean, it's not like they can't go back to The Witcher, but they've specifically said, we don't want to go back to The Witcher for a while. We might go back to The Witcher in the future, but it's going to be a long time.
Yeah, they have like...
And 2021 is not, at least in my brain, not a long time. That's just kind of like a bit. All that having been said, maybe new IP. Well, I'd be into.
Yeah, we're leaning to a new IP. But there's another statement that happened from that conference that's really important. They actually kind of talked about how Bethesda released Fallout 4 and how they were kind of jealous and wanted to do that with Cyberpunk.
Talking about how Bethesda came out on stage and was like, hey, I heard you all talking about Fallout 4. Hey, it's real. This is when it's coming out. Here's some footage. Enjoy. And it just kind of faded into the background as the video started playing. Which, I mean, is really impressive. Like, for me as a gamer, being used to this is early access. It will release when we are confident that it's gonna be. No, a developer coming out on stage and just having the nuts to say, my game is sick. Here it is. This is when to expect it. This is some footage. You're gonna love it. Go.
And then at the E3 event, they had behind closed doors sessions with media. And here's the thing is, they've basically announced that they're going to be at E3 because they said, we're going to announce what we're doing at E3 right before E3. So, okay, CD Projekt's going to be at E3. And if they're saying they're jealous and they want to do the same thing that Bethesda did with Fallout with Cyberpunk, are we going to see here's Cyberpunk, it's going to be out in 6 months, which is what Fallout did. Are we going to be seeing that?
I'd give applause.
Oh my God, I think that would be really crazy. Mind you, we're speculating way sooner, but most of the other media outlets are really pushing it to PlayStation 5. They're saying this is the next generation. This is not anytime soon.
But that doesn't really make sense fitting in with the intergenerational comment. Because that makes me feel like we're releasing it on this gen, but when next gen comes out, it's gonna work. It's gonna take advantage of it.
And that's what I see out of
why else would he want to ease that fear? Why else would he want to say it's gonna work on this gen, but when the next gen happens, it's gonna be fine. You don't have to wait to buy the game. Please buy my game now. Trust that I got your back. And then two, it's not gonna break. You're still gonna be able to enjoy it. It's gonna take advantage and it's gonna be enjoyable. So buy it. That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, head down to the comments. Let us know if CD Projekt Red were to come out with a new IP, what do you want it to look like? They have one in the past, one in the future, maybe something.
Present
day. I don't know.
Also, while you guys are down there, let me know, do you think they're actually going to make an announcement at E3? And if they do, is it going to be Cyberpunk 2077?
Also, let me know if you hit the subscribe button to subscribe to our channel and help us grow. Also, let me know if you hit the bell icon to get notifications whenever we post new content. Also, let me know if you liked the video, if you liked it, and disliked it if you disliked it. And let me know if you disliked it, why you didn't like it, so that we can improve for you. I'm Krug. You can get me at KrugQT on Twitter.
You can reach me on Twitter at IndigoQT. You can reach both of us on Twitter at _QueueTimes. We've been GameGorgon. See you guys tomorrow.
Let me know.